I thought that going to vocal lessons was like having someone teach you how to do your part with what you're doing, but that's false. Like I've learned that like vocal instruction is just taking your vocals like an instrument and teaching you how to do it, and then you can apply it to whatever style of music that you choose.
Having the tools to like know how to sing and how to not, it just gives you more creative freedom because I'm able to sing any way that I want to, you know.
We kind of started on when I had my problem of a blown out voice, so I was kind of embarrassed that I, didn't really have the instruction until I was in really kind of like dire need of instruction.
If you're coming from your throat, no matter what, anytime, anywhere, it's always going to pinch, it's always going to scratch, it's always going to feel like a vice grip. And the more you do that, the more you're going to scar out your throat, and you're just never going to make it.
We started playing more frequently, and all of a sudden it started to take a toll. And I remember the first time it took a toll was at the Showbox in Seattle, and it took a toll in front of, this audience, and like my voice was cracking and I was super embarrassed.
You can give any advice to any young singer, learn how to do this before you spend multiple dozens of millions of dollars on anything.
Here's a good thing I can say about Sue too, is I don't really do hardly any vocal takes in the studio anymore. I mean, and that was partly like a creative decision and partly also just because I didn't have to do like 5 million takes.
We've broadened our sound, and in my opinion, thanks to Sue's techniques and some shit that she taught me, I was able to go in and just give it a go, and certain takes made the record, whereas without her input, it probably wouldn't have made the record.
So here's the best lesson. Always warm up. Don't go to a gig cold. Don't just go and drink a glass of water and start singing. Take at least a half an hour and warm up.
And you can't be a runner without stretching your legs. You can't just walk out onto a field and play football without getting warmed up and stretched out. So your voice is the same thing. It's a muscle. It needs to be warmed up. It needs to be loosened up and brought to its forefront to be able to go out on stage with. So
you're kidding yourself if you think you can jump into some kind of extreme vocals without warming up, because you're only kidding yourself and it's only going to hurt you. And then you cancel shows and your band gets mad at you and you lose money and you go home and it sucks.
I just try to kind of thoroughly warm up each, compartment of my body, each section of my voice, and I just try to do that for at least 15-20 minutes before every show.
Hardly ever does the first vocal take make the cut, because you have to kind of dive in and warm up. So it only makes sense that you do that before a live show. When you only have maybe 30-45 minutes out there, you don't want to take the first 20 minutes of it warming up.
Like, how do you scream like that? It's like something people ask me all the time. And like I said, I've always screamed like that. I'm just like, I guess Sue has enabled me to continue to scream like that and be able to do it night after night after night, It's all about learning technique and just how to apply something to make yourself better, and I view vocals as an instrument, and I would like to learn as much as I can about it and make it better. It only enhances my band.
Like I said, to do it 6 nights a week, you need that. You definitely need someone to show you how to kind of maintain and handle it. Because if you're just gonna go and drink and smoke, if you're just gonna do that, you're gonna find yourself, singing like a dumbass, maybe 4 out of 5 nights.
We've been out for 5 weeks now, and I've never had a problem singing live now. It's crazy, and we go full tilt every night, and it's just like no problem.
I feel confident with being able to do it, and if I have to do it the next night, I'm not worried about it. you know. So it definitely gave me, it showed me that how incorrectly I was doing it, and it also showed me how to correct it and be able to do it day after day, so, or night after night.
And you know, with singing, confidence is everything. You know, one mental trip in your head can screw the whole night up.
Confidence, you know, and that's a huge thing that Sue gave me at the time, you know, and it's like, you know, you take that from anybody, you know, you take that with you through your life.
Basically, I applied everything that she taught me that day, and I applied it that night to certain vocal passages I was recording in the studio. And it was a lot of confidence that she instilled in me, I guess, which is probably something that each person can take on an individual basis from her. But she gave me the confidence and the balls to just open up and let it go.
She does goofy stuff, man. Like, she'll have you singing and like acting like you're throwing a frisbee to hit your top notes to get your muscle to connect with it. And she's got me acting like I'm flipping a cowboy hat on some of my stuff. Just really wild and crazy stuff. But it comes down to that muscle recognition and that body memory.
She just has all these really creative techniques to get you what you need.
I take this, I push the air from right here. You know, that's where it comes from. And this is straight from Sue, you know? And I think about it every day. A massive blast of air comes from right here. It's formed with your throat right here. And if you let it resonate through your head just right, you can throw your voice fully to an object as far away as you want to throw it to. And it's all coming from here, and it's not going to blow out here.
And then we would vocalize. And get these really awesome high notes that literally felt like they were just, you know, behind my forehead. And these were notes, I considered myself an alto. Never ever would have called myself a soprano. And by like lesson 5, I was singing a high B flat or high B.
To be able to, like I said, do a scale from a low to a high end, you know, air raid siren style, it just, the isolation of the muscles, just in learning that core group of your innards, and the techniques that she's kind of gone over with, and just in learning how to do those things, really, really, really benefited.
Well, because after the breathing, everything fell in place, and it was difficult to learn the breathing. But once you got that, everything, my pitch got better, you know, my control was better. It was just all about the breathing.
If you're not, you know, positioned right, and you're not singing properly, the pipe needs to be open to get that resonance. And that was a really easy way for me to visualize keeping that pipe open, and as open as possible. And, you know, she's like, you should be able to sing with a baseball stuffed in your mouth. That's how open you need to be.
Sue is a kick-ass vocal teacher. First of all, she's a super cool friend, and it's always nice to work with someone who you're friends with first. You know, she just works with you on an individual level, and just kind of picks apart your strengths and weaknesses, and just you know, points out what you're doing right, and then teaches you other techniques of what you're doing maybe wrong or what you can improve on. And just a healthy teacher, you know, just someone who's good, and you can tell she's good, and you really want to listen and respect everything she says.
Sue's just this really creative, grounded person who is really excited about what she does. She's passionate about singing and acting and just the whole creative, artistic life. And so in addition to being a really good teacher, vocal coach, you know, she's kind of a life coach too. You know, she'd sort of pick out what your strong points were, see that you had talent, and then really push you to go further.